Epstein, and here we are now with your Friday morning flash video, and this is for the 21st of January 2022. Now, the big event of the morning was, of course, the meeting in Geneva, Switzerland between our Secretary of State Blinken and, of course, Mr. Lazarev of Russia. It appears that what we're going to do is next week we will deliver a paper to Russia as to our positions. It will not be what Russia wants to hear. We're not going to give in to any of their demands. NATO's not going to do that. But maybe there's a path forward. It's doubtful. Russia, of course, says, oh, they're amassing all those soldiers, but that's not to invade. Okay? And they're voicing their concerns. So at least the two sides talked. So the stock market was down fairly hard early. Today the difference is it started off the day lower and it's coming back up. Don't quite know what that exactly means, but we'll see. I'm still of the opinion the market has entered a phase of sell the rally, not buy the dip. So we'll see if that holds up or not. On the energy part, I'll show you in a second here, but Russia made a fortune in natural gas and in oil. And they released the numbers today so that it's another threat. In other words, we have a big bankroll. We can do as we see fit. And energy prices are sharply higher from last year. So they're doing even better on that. For whatever reason, we're getting a rally in the bonds and the notes. Remember, in the grain market, if you're going to play the grains over the weekend and corn and beans, you're playing to a degree how the weather is going to end up in South America. The dollar tried a rally last night, then a pullback this morning, and it seems to be finding its legs again. The gold and the silver market sort of stable right here. So we're going to get at 9 o'clock this morning the conference board numbers. They're hoping for an increase of about 0.8%. The cattle on feed report comes out this afternoon. The U.S. and Russia, as I said, met already. The meeting was about an hour and a half. The whole idea there, and it's my first point, was that diplomacy bought some time, which it did. But as you've heard from President Putin, time is not a luxury he has. He's either going to make his move or spring comes and it gets much harder. The ground isn't the same then as it is right now for his tanks, which need that frozen ground. And we'll see what happens. In Parliament in Russia, some of the ministers there brought up to make the pro-Russian breakaway regions independent states. Of course, that was thrown out, but you can see this is showing the backing for President Putin and just where they're at. And you'd expect all that. His people get behind him. NATO does what it has to do. NATO is very fractured. They don't seem to be putting out a united front on anything. So those are the events of the day. We're now back to the norm. The norm is what's going on between the Fed, interest rates, and the like. We have a Fed meeting next week, and the press conference, of course, will be the important part of all that. So you want to keep your eyes on just what that is doing. As for the market, I got to tell you, the first 3 weeks of January, I feel like I've been in a war. And I'm sure that most traders feel that. It is a son of a gun to try to trade. Very volatile. What you thought would hold up didn't hold up. And I'm talking even on charts. The action's been all over the board. Okay, it's the first 3 weeks of the year. Let it get by you, and you attack the market in other ways. So with that, I'm sorry about that. I'm Ira Epstein. You might want to take a look at this enhanced Bollinger Band course, because I think you'll find that even in these crazy times, this is the one indicator that is holding up and holding up just beautifully. I'm Ira Epstein. I'll see you over the weekend, of course, with our end of the day market flashes. You take care now. Welcome. I'm Ira Epstein, and I'm here to talk about my enhanced Bollinger Band course. Now, many of you have taken my regular charting course, and if not, you might think you know something about Bollinger Bands. As you know, Bollinger Bands are an algorithm designed to keep the market trading within it 95% of the time, and on a chart, it will offer on the top part resistance, on the bottom support, and the idea is the market will travel within them. We know that sometimes it latches onto that band, goes up or goes down. Well, how do you play with that? Can you pyramid the positions off that type of thinking? Well, I've applied all three of these into 13 different videos that teach you my concept of it. And from that concept, you're able to work with weekly charts and or daily charts. The 13 videos, each about 7 minutes long. The idea here is not to put you in school forever, but to teach. Now, if you haven't tried my complete futures research, I throw that in as well. Whether you've tried this or not, I think it's worth taking a look at. I think you're going to learn something from there. That research, by the way, covers twice daily market updates for you and access to what I call window envelope numbers, which I think are very important when looking at these Bollinger Bands. The next part is a trial to our charting software so you can make your charts look the same way that mine do. It's that simple. Where do you go with it and how do you get all this? It's simple. You go to our website, www.iraepstein.com. If you go to the word education, everything you need is answered there. You can also call my staff. They'll be happy to help you get set up. I'm Ira Epstein, on the road to your education.